What's cracking, guys? Hope everybody's doing well. I've had some, well, there are many thoughts, many thoughts I've been on my mind, but there's something that it's a practical thought that's been on my mind recently. I just wanted to come and, just have a chat. You guys about to get the thoughts out. Thought it'd be interesting to do. Thought I'd do it while having this nice little snack here. Brand new at 7-Eleven. Called a Danish donuts, lemon to cream cheese. Funny enough, the English just say lemon and cream cheese. It's a Danish. But anyways, hope everybody's doing well. The thing that's been on my mind a bit recently, it's almost peak summer. It should be peak summer, but it's been a bit cooler this past week. But as summer rolls around every year, it's been getting hotter and hotter. I hope everybody's staying safe out there. Guys, don't get sick, don't get heat stroke, stay hydrated. I guess it's something that's very jarring, especially for me as a Jamaican, someone who's grown up in the sunshine and everything. Granted, like I said, I know it's getting hotter and hotter. Our ozone layer is disappearing outside. I know. But a topic of discussion that sometimes comes up with my Japanese colleagues in particular, and I've also had other discussions with some other Asians in the country, is just their approach and thoughts regarding the color of their skin during summer. No. I'm trying to think how to get how to start this thought process. I just said the straight thing. Most Japanese, Korean, Chinese women in particular that I've come across, there are others as well, like Filipinos and everything, that I've come across, had discussions with, or seen them online as well. But I want to highlight, I have had discussions in person with some of these people. They hate the thought of being tan or getting tanned. They do not want to have their skin be brown. No. There are many things that can be drawn from this. Let me take a bite. Let's see how this is before we get into this. Let's see. Oh, good. You guys have a chance to try this one. Damn. Lots of calories. Oh, yeah, lots of calories. But anyway, sorry. One of the key things I came across at first, I don't care too much on a surface level. I don't really care. You do all get time in your business. Or I should say initially I didn't care too much. I didn't let it bother me. But I've been having lots of discussions now and been studying and learning about certain things. That may be that's another thought for another time. But one thing in particular that kind of triggered me, and I'm not speaking, is when I've seen some of my Japanese colleagues, like it's hot. And in Japan, it's very humid. Super humid, like 80-90% humidity generally. And it goes up to like 30 something degrees. So that the humidity pushes it into the 40s. And this is Celsius, obviously, not Fahrenheit. And I'll see them. We're getting ready to go outside with our students. And they will cover up everything, put on this big hat, cover up everywhere, right? And they'll go out and they'll just like, oh, it's so hot. It's like, I asked them, doesn't wearing that make you feel hotter? And they'll say, yeah. I highlight this because from what I've seen some people say as justification online, Japan and other Asian countries or other countries in the world as well, they'll have certain special clothing that's very light, very airy. In particular, Uniqlo has this thing called airism. And they wear it because it's very light and it's perfect for summer. It helps keep you cool or whatever, right? Or that's the goal. So like, obviously they'll wear that. But you could also wear things that are shorter sleeve and stuff like that. Yes, I know all the culture stuff. Don't worry. I'm aware of that. The thing I want to highlight is they cover up like that. And usually it's black. Generally it's black. Yeah. We all know black attracts heat. It holds it in. That's just how the color works. Yeah. And I asked them, they say, yeah, I'm hot. I'm like, wearing that makes you feel hot, right? They're like, yeah. So I asked them, why don't you take it off? Their answer, generally speaking, is they don't want to tan. They don't want to be darker. I remember I asked someone, I was like, is the thought of being tan worse than the thought of getting heat stroke? You know their answer? Yes. The answer was yes. And can you imagine how I felt hearing that? As a Jamaican, I'm not super dark, but you know, I have some melanin in me, right? As a dark-skinned Jamaican, hearing that somebody thinks it's worse to be tan than it is to get heat stroke. You can literally die from heat stroke. You know what I mean? Right? That's crazy to imagine. So I looked at them and I was like, is it really that bad for you? Like, you really don't like the thought of becoming darker? They're like, oh no, you know, us Japanese women, we don't look good like that. You know, it's bad, da da da. It's not a nice look. It doesn't look good being dark. So I look at her and I was like, how am I supposed to feel? Being darker. Being dark. Am I supposed to feel bad that I have a dark skin complexion? And I know for men it's different, especially, you know, foreigners, they look good tan, da 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 da. I was like, but that doesn't really track to me. You know what I mean? I know many people, many foreigners who believe that a lot of Asians, not just Japanese, a lot of Asians look really good tan, right? And I was having this discussion with them, trying to just like understand. I was like, if it's just UV protection, I get it, right? And some of them will say that. Some of them will say it's to protect themselves from the sun, from the UV rays. They'll say that. They will. But I found, generally speaking, that when it comes down to it at the core, for many of them, I won't say all of them, because it's not all of them, they just don't like the idea of being tan. And so I have asked them, I was like, why do you think it's the case that you don't like the thought of being tan? Why don't you think you look good tan? Yeah. And up until this point, none of them could really give me a proper answer about why they think that's the case. Yeah. Nobody else, I think that in most situations, it would be that, how do I put it? In most situations, in most cases, it'd be a situation where they're using idols or other people like that as a gauge. Yeah. Because we know that there are a lot of idols who in Asia are pretty fair skin. Yeah. I know this is a bit of a riskier topic because, you know, this is where you step on toes, right? But like I said, I'm just sharing thoughts. You know, if any of you guys would like to share your own thoughts, feel free. Leave them in the comment section. I will only accommodate having discussions that are meaningful in the comment section. Not people going and ranting. No, waste of my time. That's not a discussion. That's not a conversation. I'll have conversations. I'll share thoughts. I'll exchange thoughts and stuff like that in the comment section. That's fine. Now, back on track. The reason that a lot of these idols and stuff will have fairer skin is because of colonization, innit? That's what it is. Like, honestly speaking. And don't get me wrong, this is all like I'm learning as well. Like, there's so much I don't know, but I'm learning, I'm taking in, right? Which race in the world is the most looked up to? You guys know. Yeah. The fairer race. So it's looked up to more, yeah. Why is that the case? Colonization, years of brainwashing, years of it. They've done a great job with it. Excellent job. This is so good. When you go into a lot of the stores for makeup and stuff like that here, or you go into like regular stores to buy clothes, most of the models and stuff like that, they're all very pale, very, very pale. When you look on the idols, a lot of them are very pale. So when people see this every day, their daily lives, they're taking this in. Knowingly or not, they're taking this in. Of course, their minds are going to be like, oh, damn, that's the standard. That's what I should be striving for. Yeah. When I ask my colleagues about what they think is the reason behind like darker skin, they don't know. They don't know. They don't know about the thing called melanin and its purpose. They don't know. They have no idea. No idea. Right? Like I said, don't get me wrong. Once again, I know it's getting worse every year. The ozone layer is disappearing. UV rays are getting worse. I get it. You know, back in the day, us black people could maybe just roll out in the sun and be fine. You know, nowadays we have to use some sunblock, some sunscreen to help protect ourselves. Right? But none of us are walking around and be like, oh yeah, we hate the thought of getting darker. That melanin is working hard to help protect us. You know what I mean? Protect us from all the dangerous UV rays while soaking in some vitamin D. Right? But a lot of these guys, they don't know about it. They don't. And I remember a discussion with one of my Korean friends. And I appreciate that it was a discussion, right? It wasn't just them trying to shove something down my throat or me shoving something down their throat. We were talking about the state of the world and how many in Korea, because they live in Korea, right? They grew up in Korea, they live in Korea. They're talking about how many people in Korea, especially the women and stuff, they kind of look up to and idolize the fairer skin race, right? And they were trying to like reason their way around it. And one of the things they mentioned to me was this phrase called pure skin, right? And apparently this is something that they're saying, I don't know if it's widespread around Asia, just Korea, I don't know. And they explained to me that the idea behind pure skin is that it's the way skin is meant to be, and that is a fairer, paler kind of skin tone, right? And that if it's darker, then it's no longer pure. It's like it's becoming impure. And I heard this, and I was like, we're doing this while we eat some samgyeopsal, right? I'm like, no way. Because to do that, to maintain the supposed pure skin, you're going and using all kinds of things on your skin to help to keep it a pale color. Yeah? Well, I expressed it, like I was trying to look at it from their point of view, right? Like we're not going to the things where back in the day, everybody started Africa. I'm not doing that. Just trying to have a discussion from what I'm hearing. I said, during summer, our skin will naturally get tan, get darker in a way to protect us from UV rays and stuff like that, while still taking in vitamin D and everything. And then as it gets colder, it's more overcast, it's colder, it's not sunny all the time. That color slowly fades. We become a little lighter skin. And that's the natural way it happens. That's what naturally happens. Shouldn't that be considered what's pure skin? And they thought about it and they were like, oh yeah, that actually makes sense. And I was like, yeah, it does. Right? I told him, I was like, I don't want any of you guys thinking that because your skin might be a little darker, that makes it less beautiful or anything like that. It doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah? If your skin goes, it gets tan during the summertime and stuff, you're beautiful. If it becomes lighter during wintertime and stuff, you're still beautiful. All right? Nobody should have to feel like they have to force their skin any one way or anything, right? But, years of brainwashing is a heck of a thing. Yeah? I also recall another situation where there was this a colleague? I think this was another colleague. There's another colleague who was going on. No, this wasn't a colleague. This was one of my students, right? And this is just how weird it is to me, how the brainwashing and everything works, because these kids at a young age, they're so innocent, right? And they just absorb the things around them. There was a kid who I taught. I remember one evening she came up to me. She was asking me, like some kids ask me, and they're innocent, they don't know, and I'm willing to have a discussion with them if they're at the age or level of, or the stage rather, where they're able to kind of wrap their head around it. They're like, why is your skin so dark, wife? And I was talking to them about it. And they're like, oh, that's so weird. The funny thing is, this student was also a very similar skin tone as me. Like they were just maybe a couple shades off, but they're very close to my skin tone. And I said to them, I was like, but you're brown as well, right? And they're like, no. I was like, what do you mean no? Look. And I put our arms against it, like, look, similar. And they're like, no, I'm white. And I was like, you're not though. You're not. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to. I didn't go too deep into that because, I don't know where she got that from, who she got that from. But I'm not trying to completely throw off her mental state. You know what I mean? But there have been other situations outside of that where I have asked some fellow Japanese colleagues, teachers, to look on some students that we have and tell me in their mind what skin tone they think they are, like what's the closest skin tone they think they are, right? And boy, the answers. They will look on a kid that's close to my skin tone. I'm like, they're peach. Peach! Peach! What do you mean? What do you mean? And not even a tan or like a golden yellow or something or actual brown. Peach. And it confuses me because it shows just how deep it is in their brains that they won't look on someone who is one of their fellow, what do I want to say? Not kinsmen, a fellow Japanese person. And they hesitate to say that they're brown. Isn't that crazy? Or to say that they're tan. Even if you don't want to say they're tan or something. They want to say they're peach or something like that. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, I cannot fathom how they go from day to day life, looking on each other. Look at these innocent kids are trying to get their brains to be rewired to think that, oh, you're not dark skin, you're not brown, you're not tan, you're white or something like this. That's mad. That's actually mad. And then, don't get me wrong, there are people who do tan or who are just natural brown, just accept it or whatever. Some cases of Japanese people, specifically the women, because the men, I think a lot of the men just don't care, to be honest, right? Or they don't have that expectation, societal pressure thrust upon them, right? A lot of Japanese women who I've seen who tan willingly, like they're okay being tan and stuff. Do you want to know what a lot of them have in common as an interest? Black culture. Black culture. A lot of them will talk about either Jamaica or American hip hop or whatever. Like they're like interested in like interacting with a lot of black people. And a lot of these women will willingly tan. They'll go to the beach intentionally to tan when summer rolls around. And when winter rolls around, they're like, oh, I miss my tan color. That's interesting, isn't it? When I talk to the other colleagues who aren't as interested in black culture and stuff, as we'll say, they have zero interest in becoming tanner. They have zero interest in it. They want to be pale. They want to be pale. But they don't know why. That's funny, isn't it? That's funny. That's interesting how that works. It's very interesting. But just to circle back a bit to the covering up and everything, UV rays are dangerous. Find ways to stay safe from it. I get it. But it shouldn't be a thing where like, I don't want to be tan. So many Asians are beautiful tan. Beautiful, right? There are so many people of the fairer skin race that want to be tan like them but can't. They just don't have it in them. They don't. I mean, that's fine. That's their race. That's fine. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it, right? But on the flip side, there are all these Asian women trying to be like them. But it's funny because I'm pretty sure a lot of them would do whatever they can to tan just as well as the Asians. They would. They do it. They go to tanning salons. They try to do it. That's mad. It's crazy. It's just crazy how that works. But that's another thing to keep in mind when all these people are covering up and walking around with their umbrellas and stuff, right? I've seen multiple people when they're cycling, they're wearing this thing that cover up their face, right? Because, cycling, it's perfect time to get like sun on you. But when you see them covering up and hair is covered, like there's a thing that comes out in front, it's cutting off their vision. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. I look at it, I was like, that can't be safe. How is that accepted? How is that okay? That's mad. That's up there with the heat stroke. Like, yeah, it's okay if I don't tan. You know what I mean? Or sorry, it's okay if I get hit with a heat stroke, but no tanning. It's okay if I end up in a bike accident because I can't see properly. I cut off my field of view. But tanning, nah, that's not it. That's not the life. No way. No way. It's crazy. It's a crazy life we live. Meanwhile, if you go and check some of the people in some of the rural areas, or even Okinawa, those people are walking around fine, most of them. They're tan, they're looking beautiful during summer, they're fine. They look so happy. They look so happy. But then you have all the people in the big cities, Tokyo and Fukuoka and wherever else. You know what I mean? Maybe Osaka too. Osaka have a weird mismatch because Osaka is kind of special. But all these people just trying to hide from the sun, trying to be pale, trying to be light skinned. But meanwhile, all the other people in rural areas who may be too busy working hard, doing what they need to do, to be worrying about tanning and stuff. You know what I mean? Maybe don't have that convenience or something. They're out there being tan, happy, getting all that vitamin D from the sun, being happy. That's mad. That's mad. Was good. But yeah, that's something I wanted to kind of have a discussion about. Share my thoughts. There's a lot more, but for now, that's it. That's something to think on. You know what I mean? And I hope you guys, if you took the time to watch all the way to the end, I appreciate you. I hope you'll think about it yourself. Feel free to reach out. If you ever want to have a proper discussion, share your own thoughts, feel free. I'm always up to have discussions. Always up for learning more. Always up for growing. But one thing that I definitely don't think I'll ever be able to change my mind on with this is there's absolutely no way it's ever a bad thing to be a darker skin tone. No way. But that's it from me, guys. Stay safe out there. Until next time. See you around.